trying this one more time. This is ridiculous. I need to go and delete some videos. Okay. No. Okay, we are... Okay. Where do we go? No, we go to manage videos, don't we? Here we go. Okay, and then... Yeah. Okay. Did we get rid of those videos? Okay. We got rid of those videos. We're in good hands now. Okay, let's try that again. Holy smokes. This top potato is so good. Oh my god. Oh my god, this top potato. Man. Have you guys ever had top potato? It's so good. It's too good. Like, hold on. Before we do this intro, I need to eat some more top potato. This stuff is like addicting. Okay. Let's try again. Alright. I have been playing RuneScape for what seems like 20 years now. My account was initially made back in 2007. Let's minimize that. There we go. So my account was made back in 2007. Okay? It's an OG account. And by OG, I mean like it's not the oldest account in the world, right? There's accounts that are like way older than this one. But relatively speaking, it's pretty freaking old. Okay? And hold on. Let's go to our bank real quick. Let's pull out 1 mil because I don't know what we need. And so here's the deal. I am going to get 99 in all of my skills. Currently, right now, we've got 3 of them done. We've got herblore, smithing, and we also got divination. Right now, we're going to work on a combat skill. And the combat skill that we've decided to work on, it should surprise nobody, but necromancy, because it's OP as shit. So, we are currently in a bit of a problem. We need subjugation, armor, cowl, any of this fucking robes, actually, would be great. I've tried buying it. You can't buy it because nobody is selling it. Check this shit out. Nobody's selling it, okay? So we need to find it ourselves, which is fine. So we are just going to grind away in the God Wars dungeon until we get it, like maybe like 4 pieces. Because if we get 4 pieces and then at level 90 we make our tier 80 Death Warden clothes, I think that's all we need. So we're just going to grind for a little bit. No big deal. Let's see. We want an anti-poison? Question mark. No, what's a poison? Oh, one word. Interesting. Okay. So super anti-poison. 6 doses. Awesome. We'll take 1 of these. You know what? We'll take 10 of these. Nah, do we really need 10? For now, let's just go with 1. Okay. Awesome. Got our anti-poison. Okay, now what else do we need? We'll take like 10. We don't even need that many, honestly. We don't. But we'll take 10. Okay? I kind of want them at the bottom. I like them at the bottom. Is that weird? I hope that's not weird. You know, I'm a little strange with how I like to do things. We're gonna deposit all of our money. Here's the next question. Are we able to bring, like... Oh my lord, what was that? Witchcraft. Are we able to bring, like, I think we're able to bring a summoning pet. But, oh wait, are we allowed to have a summoning pet while we're doing necromancy? I don't actually know, and I don't care enough to, like, test it out. So... for now, we're just going to go with what we got here. 300 ectoplasm. That should be fine for now. Yeah, that should be fine for now. Okay. Now, we're going to teleport. And we're going to go to... not here. Here. There we go. So, yeah, I've been playing since, like, 07. Like, I started playing since before the GE was a thing. That's how old this account is. That's how long I've been playing. Shortly after I started playing, the GE became a thing. I don't know the exact time. That's beyond my memory. But, you know, okay, we should be automatically attacking. Cool. Alright, and then once we get our ghost out there, then it's just like auto attack, and then we're fine, right? You know, we just be chilling. So, necromancy is pretty overpowered. For whatever reason, my ghoul is not going. What's going on? There we go. Alright. This should fix everything. We were on the wrong revolution bar, I think. Okay, should it be at 8? I think it should only be at 7 for now. Holy crap. This is not good. My ghoul is not doing as much work as I need him to. This is bad news. Oh, do I have like the wrong abilities? sectioned off. I wonder if I have the wrong abilities in the wrong order. We will take a look at this soon, because I'm losing way too much health. I should not be losing this much health. So once we get, how many more Zamorak kills do we need? Yeah, holy crap, they are just ripping me apart. Okay, yeah, we'll take that. Oh yeah, we'll take that probably. None of this stuff is worth it, so we'll just leave it alone. Yeah, I mean, sure, we'll take a... Yeah. I think these are actually worth money, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Okay. I'm hoping someone drops some sharks for us. Oh, speak of the devil. Look at that. Cool. Okay, we're getting our health back now. That was very strange. Okay, the world is making sense again, sort of. Okay. Got a lot of spiritual mages up our butts right now. Take a shark again. We'll eat. Finish killing him, though. Good job. We'll take some coins. Get our ghoul out there. And our ghosty, please. Oh, dude, one of the cats just took a massive shit in the litter box. Oh man, that reeks. But we will, before we go, we will check our revolution bar to make sure that we do have the right stuff equipped. Oh man, dude, frickin', oh, that is pungent. Oh man. There's our kill count. Can we move this? No? It just sticks right there. Okay. Alright, I mean, look, that's fine, I guess. It's kind of annoying. Super strength. I mean, why not? I don't even know if any of this stuff sells. If there were more people playing this game, it would be a lot more fun. So the reason that I like RuneScape so much is because of the player-run economy. Like, I love the idea of, like, getting valuable things that people want, selling those valuable things, making a profit. Like, when I played RuneScape back when I was a kid, all I could think about was ways to make money. That's the only thing that I liked about the game. And the only reason I wanted to level up my skills was so that I could make money more efficiently. So, I mean, I've done it all. I used to grind harvesting flax to make money. I got my hunter level up to 60 so I could get chimchampas. Or is that 70? Like, I did it all. And when I first started, I was like, oh, I gotta get the yew trees. It's all about the yew trees. That's how you make money in RuneScape, is yew logs, right? Like, fuck, you know? But now that there's not a ton of people playing, and now that, like, traveling is a lot easier, and then you have all these other quality of life changes that have turned the game and have kind of flipped the economy upside down, it's really interesting, right? So something like magic paper, which is if you use an item on magic paper, it turns it noted, which means if it takes up a slot in your inventory, now you can turn it into a note. So now instead of it taking up multiple slots, you can get like 28 logs and it only take up one slot versus 28. That will fuck your economy up, you know? Just that one small little change. Here's another change. Adjusting how much energy you lose and how quickly you gain it back. That affects the economy too. Being able to have unlimited teleports also fucks the economy. Back in the day, you could click the home teleport, it would take you to Lumbridge, and you could only do it like every 30 minutes. Okay, we got enough Zammy kills. Let's pick up these soul stones, because these soul stones are worth a lot of money for what they are. I think they're worth like 800 a pop. What are they? 800 a pop. Holy shit. So I remember my cousin, it wasn't flesh crawlers. There was a mob that he was obsessed with because it consistently dropped soul runes. I can't remember what it was though. So, all right, I said we would do it. We're gonna look up our revolution bar necromancy RS3. Okay. Let's see what people got going. Okay. No, I want to see single target, melee, necromancy. There we go. Okay. So, single target. It recommends conjure undead enemy. Oh. Some of these I do not have. Is a high level. Okay, Ignis Calmore is a high level necromancy cape created by upgrading. Oh, a Tokha. Wearing it reduces the adrenaline requirement. Okay, so we don't have that cape. So it recommends this. Interesting that I would conjure undead army. Is this... Okay, let's check that out. Let's see if I have any of that stuff. Okay. Necromancy. Conjure skeleton warrior. Putrid zombie. I do not have undead army. What's the next one? Death skulls. Living death. Death skulls right here. Okay. Alright. Living death comes right after. Okay. And then this one comes after living death. Okay. And then conjure skeleton warrior. So conjure skeleton warrior right there. Okay. And then touch of death. There we go. After touch of death, sacrifice. I don't think I have sacrifice. How do you look at your constitution abilities? It's probably under defensive. Yeah. I don't have sacrifice. Oh, I need to do a quest? Okay. We'll ignore that for now. Okay, and then the next one after sacrifice is going to be this one right here. Oh, cool. That's already what I have set up. Oh, wait. I've been doing the wrong thing. Fuck. Okay. Whew. I was tempted. I was like, maybe we go back to... But, I mean, we've made it this far. So, alright. Undead Army, which is something we don't have. Vengeful Ghost. Okay, cool. After Vengeful Ghost, do Soul Sap. Okay. After Soul Sap, Touch of Death. Okay. After Touch of Death, Skeletal Warrior. Okay. After Skeletal Warrior, right here, Death Skulls. After Death Skulls, this one right here, Living Death. After Living Death, this bad boy right here. Okay. And then last but not least, Finger of Death. Okay. So this should be 9. And I'm pretty sure we're good. So this is where we're going to go into settings. Settings. We're going to go into gameplay. And we're going to up it by 1. There we go. Okay. Let's see if this works out for us. I mean, it should. I can't imagine we would have any issues. Let's find out. Now, mind you, the old setup I had, I did not really have to heal, like, at all. So, we'll see. Okay. Run all the way over into this little corner right here. I like running into this corner because this guy right here, Zachlin Gritch, sometimes doesn't aggro on you if you're all the way in this corner. So, okay. We don't need to attack him, though. Holy crap. Alright. Let's go after a big guy. Now, remember, we're looking for subjugation stuff. And you know what, guys? I think we're doing pretty good. Yeah. No, we're fine. We're fine with this revolution bar. I'm cool with it. I can live with it. Alright, so... we're hoping for subjugation. That's the only reason we're here. We're going to take some tequila. Man, that's good. Okay. So, life continues on. And even if it didn't, you wouldn't hear nothing from me. So I've been listening to this guy. And I'm going to pull up his name real quick. I've kind of become obsessed with him, if I'm being honest. His name is Robert Solopsky. I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing it, because I know I am mispronouncing it. But I got interested in his stuff because there was a video he posted in regards to schizophrenia. And really what's interesting and fascinating mostly about the talk is that instead of really talking about schizophrenia, what he's actually talking about is like language. And this is where I got introduced to pidgin languages, right? Little did I know that future me would then download and take one of the great courses provided by Audible called linguistics. In linguistics, they cover what pidgin languages are in their completeness. Well, I'd already learned what a pigeon language was from our dear friend, Dr. Robert Sapolsky. Okay, so what's interesting about Dr. Robert, what's interesting about the doctor, is that he doesn't believe in free will. Interesting. And it's not like a religious thing, right? Like, he just doesn't think that free will is a thing. And the religion part for him comes into how we should react to this idea of free will not being a thing. In his head, he believes in some type of like egalitarian state or place where we no longer are so harsh with our punishments towards individuals because there is no free will. And instead of like the death penalty, what we do is people who are antisocial or people who are a detriment to society, we quarantine them into a place where they can no longer hurt people. And the way he goes about this is very interesting, okay? So you'll notice that he kind of, it's not that he creates a false comparison. When he sets up his case, oftentimes he will set up his case like this. It's very interesting. He'll be like, there was a time long ago when people in the Middle Ages, someone would have a seizure, and instead of acknowledging that this person is having a seizure, they would be like, oh, well, this person is suffering from demon possession. Oh, no! Right? And so instead of giving this person the medical help and attention that they need, it was blamed on demonic possession. That's bad, bad, bad. Demonic possession is really bad. Everybody agrees. Demonic possession, not good. So people would be charged with hanging out with the devil. And that's why they got seizures, right? Which is ridiculous. We all know that's ridiculous. We live in modern times, right? Well, back in the day, not that long ago, schizophrenia was more of like this idea. It was like this kind of Freudian kind of like, the only reason you have schizophrenia is because you were raised by a mother who didn't love you. And schizophrenia comes from the mother. Well, turns out, after doing a lot of research, we found that schizophrenia is genetics. Oh, okay. So this is him building his case. He's bringing up all these examples of how we would treat people with illnesses as evil or immoral individuals, right? So with the example of someone who's suffering from seizures, we would treat that person as if they had made a pact with the devil. And this was just a case of demonic possession, when really seizures were out of their control. It's not because they did anything or were immoral or rotten to the core. It's because they had like a misconnection in the brain. Sorry, I lack the jargon to really describe what seizures are. But what I know is like it's a misfiring of synapse, right, in the brain, something like that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Okay, so now, schizophrenia. All of these mothers who feel guilty because they were told that they didn't love their child enough, and that's why their child has schizophrenia, and schizophrenia comes from them. Well, with the advent of modern medicine, we've found out that schizophrenia is an overactive. It's like the opposite of Parkinson's, is really what it is. You have too much dopamine in the brain, I believe, right? Something like that. Okay, so it's a chemical imbalance, right? like your brain is not doing what it's supposed to do, and that's schizophrenia. Okay. It doesn't come from the mother. All right. So this is how he builds his case. And he makes this false dichotomy where he then tries to draw the connection to like violent criminals. Now, say what you will about violent criminals, but for all we know, violent criminals are the way they are because of maybe a disorder, maybe a medical disorder, right? And we are punishing these people unfairly for things they can't possibly control. And that's the case he makes. In my opinion, a very weak case. And the way he goes about this is by saying that we have no free will. Dun dun dun. Ooh, super scary. What I find really interesting is kind of the conclusions that he comes to. This idea that because there's no free will and we just do what we're supposed to do like we are on a roller coaster, people should not be held in high esteem for just achieving what they were going to achieve anyway. And then people should also not be punished for behaving a certain way, like being a violent criminal. Instead, those people should be quarantined away from society, which is kind of something we already do. But I think this is more in regards to like the death penalty as a punishment. I think that's really what he's referring to. And his mindset is, if we would all just wake up to this idea that we are not in control of our faculties and we are just slaves to our genetics and to our environment, then we would be more compassionate for those who are behaving in a way that is self-destructive and harmful. And we would move into like this utopia of where... Oh, I'm almost dead. No, I wasn't almost dead. Okay, never mind. We would move into this like weird utopia where we would finally treat people with compassion and empathy because they're not doing these things because they're evil or bad or rotten to the core. They're doing these things because of genetics and environment, okay? What I find particularly fascinating about this observation of his is that I don't think he realizes what it actually means to get rid of free will. So the reason criminals are treated the way they're treated is because they have the ability to do the right thing, right? That's where free will comes in. Free will doesn't exist so that we can punish people and feel good about ourselves. Free will exists because more often than not, we do the bad thing. But there's hope, my friends. There's hope, ladies and gentlemen. Because even though we do the bad thing, we can choose to do the right thing. Okay? This is how I look at free will. If we were to get rid of free will and we lived in a society with no free will, I would not see the point of rehabilitation. I would not see the point of giving people second chances. Because in a world of no free will, the implication is if someone commits a crime, they're going to commit another crime. Because it's just how they are genetically. And it's just how they are because of their environment. Now, if you've read Blank Slate Theory by Steven Pinker, I think his name is Steven Pinker, by Mr. Pinker, Dr. Pinker, you'll know that while environment plays a role in extreme circumstances, for the most part, genetics actually plays the more significant... It's the main character in the play of your consciousness. Genetics predetermine just about everything about yourself. And the way they were able to figure that out through numerous twin studies and triplet studies and all of these other interesting mapping of the cerebral cortex. Like, this is how we found out that for the most part, it's not necessarily your environment, unless we're talking about extreme circumstances. For the most part, it's like a 80-20 kind of split. And maybe if we're being generous, like a 70-30 split in the favor of genetics. Okay, with that in mind, let's circle back to this idea of free will, okay? In the example of a violent criminal, instead of treating him as an individual who has free will and autonomy of his decisions, who maybe, if he decides, will one day not be violent, instead of giving him that opportunity, which is what we would do with free will. If free will doesn't exist, then there's no point in giving him the opportunity to become a better person, because he can never be a better person. His life has already been predetermined by his genetics. Free will does not play a role or a significant role in the decisions that he's making. So, in that example, just like a body, we would have to get rid of the cancer. And a cancer to society is anything that hurts the society, right? So we all have this wonderful thing called culture, community, music, friends, family. We want to be able to protect those things. And not only that, we want to be able to live in a world where those things are thriving, right? So anything that would put those things in danger or at risk of being harmed should be removed from society completely. Basically, the case I'm making is that if you truly believe there is no free will, I have bad news. Because of all those criminals that you're trying to empathize with, in a world without free will, it would be our moral duty to get rid of those individuals. And because free will doesn't exist, there would be an argument to be made that it would not be worth spending money on keeping these people alive. Which means we would just, en masse, kill all of these people. That is ultimately what the non-free will leads to. At least in my opinion. I don't know. I'm sure that we could have some philosophical discussions arguing this point. People might be right, people might be wrong. I don't know. Honestly, I do not care. But that is kind of the mindset that I am immediately drawn to when people tell me that free will doesn't exist. To me, it immediately says, then why are we spending all this money making sure that criminals... Oh, we're about to finish this Japanese whiskey. Very exciting. Criminals who are never going to change, who are always going to be violent and hurtful and evil. Why are we spending all these times, resources, and energy on keeping these people alive? We should be getting rid of them. Now, it's important to note that I believe in free will. So this is not a decision that I feel compelled to defend or even make. I think that our entire... I do agree with Dr. Robert. I do agree with him that our entire idea of empathy and morality is built around the notion that free will exists. But what Mr. Robert doesn't realize is that all of the good things from our morality comes from the idea that free will exists. The idea of giving people second chances, the idea of rehabilitation, the idea of taking control of one's life and doing something with it. This is all under the assumption that deep within us, There is a consciousness, a magical essence that makes decisions. Now, here's the deal, and this is what I want you to think about. Okay. We're going to need to drink a little bit of Japanese whiskey before we get into this. Wow, that's good. Okay. So, this is kind of what I think. I believe in a ghost in the machine. And when it comes to making decisions, I like to envision the Libra scale. We do not make decisions in a vacuum. So because we don't make decisions in a vacuum, I guess one could argue that free will doesn't exist. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how things weigh out. Because one day we may choose to do something that weighs in our favor, and then the next day we may choose to do something self-destructive that doesn't weigh in our favor. The world exists, so therefore decisions are made based on the existence of this world. Okay. I would like to see someone try and argue that that means free will doesn't exist. I think that's a silly argument, but I'm sure that someone could waste everybody's time by making that argument. The point that I'm trying to make and kind of like succinctly define how I feel about this whole notion of free will is that ultimately there are things that push us in one direction or the other. And our genetics and our environment is one of those things. If you have a predisposition towards addiction, you are more likely to become addicted by substances, habits. Okay. But does that mean you will be addicted? No. No, it doesn't. And in fact, you can overcome your genetics. And you can maybe even go, you know what? I'm just going to have a sip of whiskey. I'm just going to drink every now and again, and I'm not going to get addicted. It's going to require harder work. It's going to require you consciously making decisions and going against urges that you may feel that are stronger than other people's urges, but one could overcome this. Okay? I believe that firmly. I believe that existence is overcoming our nature. That's the whole point of ethics. That's the whole point of morality. We are not predisposed to be good people. This is something that we have to work on and make the decision. And it doesn't matter what your environment is, even though your environment plays a role. You could have the best environment of all time, be raised in a very religious, conservative, loving family, and you could still end up super immoral, evil, and a piece of shit. Or if you're like a Democrat, you could grow up in the most accepting, loving, harmonious, supportive family that has ever existed, but you could still end up a piece of shit, right? So your environment plays a role. But ultimately, you are the one making the decision, you know? You are the one making the decision on whether your environment plays a role in who you are. Oh, what? Did I get a gown of subjugation? What? What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, fuck yeah. Thank you, Ring of Wealth. This is the greatest thing that has ever happened. Look, I have been married. I have been told by my dad and my mom that they're proud of me. I have won tournaments. I have trophies. I have shown myself to be reliable and talented. I have gotten one of the lead roles in many plays. And this moment right here trumps all of those other previous moments. This is the most amazing moment I think I've ever experienced. I do not say that lightly. I am the happiest I have ever been, and the happiest I will ever be. Okay, so we've been poisoned. I don't like being poisoned. We're no longer poisoned. Okay. Wow. Holy crap. If I sell it for 10 million, do you think someone will buy it for 10 mil? Okay. So, to make a long story short, right? I'm kind of in this camp that fuck me. Stop moving around. Chill out, dude. Okay? I'm kind of in this camp that existence is you overcoming your genetics. It's overcoming your predispositions to become who you were meant to be. And I think that's what life is. What? Are you guys seeing this? What is happening? Where am I? Guys, that was 2 in a row. Has this ever happened ever? I don't think so. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. This is phenomenal. One day I will have a kid, and that still won't be the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Huh. Insane. So to put a little bow on everything that we've just spoken about, I really respect Dr. Robert. Again, one of the first videos that I ever watched of his was about schizophrenia. It was really fascinating. He made a very interesting observation, and that is, we don't see schizophrenia in animals. Why don't we see schizophrenia in animals? Because an animal that is schizophrenic will not reproduce. However, humans have found a purpose for schizophrenic individuals. And apparently, if you look at tribal people, and if you look back into anthropology and look at the stuff that's been left over by ancient cultures, the guy who was the shaman or the religious leader of the tribe or the medicine man, he was the schizophrenic in the tribe. I find that so funny. Now, Dr. Robert speaks with quite a lot of confidence. And based on what he says, I buy it. It makes sense to me. So I'm not going to argue with him. I think he's right? I think that you're not going to find schizophrenia in other animals because they're not going to reproduce. And I do think that when it came to a lot of these ancient cultures, like the seers, the wise men, the shamans, the physical connection to the spiritual world was probably propped up by someone who was schizophrenic. And it's funny because I guess apparently if you talk to these tribes, they'll say, oh yeah, no, we love our our shaman. We love our medicine man. He's the greatest. Thank God we only have one of them, though, right? That's the big joke. That's the joke. Which is kind of funny, right? Because, yeah. So the point that he's trying to make there, pretty simple, pretty easy, is that, yes, people with schizophrenia exist. This is a thing. But ancient cultures are kind of like, yeah, schizophrenia is okay, he's great, he's awesome, but we can't have a whole community of people like this, which tracks. Absolutely tracks. So, yeah, just a little interesting observation that he made there. I do highly recommend checking out his lecture on schizophrenia. I think it's on the Stanford YouTube page. I think that's where it's at. I'm not entirely positive. But it's worth watching. I found a lot of value in this. The first part of the lecture doesn't even talk about schizophrenia. Like I said before, it talks about linguistics, languages, pidgin languages. Which, by the way, if you ever have an afternoon to like just dedicate to learning something, I think pidgin languages are one of the most interesting aspects of human community, right? It's when two communities that speak different languages that are forced to work with each other, they come up with a language where it's a combination of their language and someone else's language. Now, in most cases for a pidgin language, unfortunately, there is a colonizing language and an indigenous language. And the colonizing language takes precedent over, takes authority over the indigenous language, and the indigenous language has to then bend towards the colonial language. So you'll see this with patois is the perfect example of a pidgin language, which, if you don't know what patois is like, it's Jamaican, right? Like, it's English, it's French, and it's also their native tongue, okay? Thus is the nature of most pidgin languages, because a pidgin language only comes in existence when a group of people is then forced to work with another group of people, and generally that only happens when there's a colonizing group of people, okay? There is an argument to be made by one of the great linguistics, I can't remember what his name is, but I think it's John McWhortle, where he says that the reason the English language is the only Germanic language that does not have gender is because of the Vikings. Fascinating, right? Interesting stuff there. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We get to keep going for now. Excellent. Okay. This is fantastic. We get to keep grinding it out. I like grinding it out. Don't you like grinding it out? We all like grinding it out. Okay. So. Anyway, so like, yeah. The Vikings came in. They colonized England, and because the Vikings do not come from a language that has genders, one of the frills of languages that's first to drop off is gender, right? Any complications like that kind of stuff, it disappears. So that's the argument. Okay, where did... Oh, did he do more damage than me? He must have done more damage than me, right? Is that the only reason why I don't get to look at this stuff? What the fuck? I thought it'd be like evenly split between us. But I guess not. Super weird. What level is he? 129? Ooh, yeah, no, he's... Let's see... 83, so similar to me. I think I'm 81. Morty will hang out with us. There we go. Alright. Well, that was cool. He swung through. We chatted for a little bit. Seems like a cool guy. He I was afraid he was going to kind of kick us. So I think in order to start like a private match, you got to spend like 100K. And I've yet to deal with somebody joining, so I just have never spent 100K. So I've never had to deal with it. And I thought it would be kind of fun to like boss with somebody else. But I assumed we'd be like splitting the spoils, and it doesn't look like it's splitting the spoils at all, which kind of caught me by surprise. What it looked like it was actually doing was just giving it to whoever did the most damage, which is kind of obnoxious, but whatever. C'est la vie, thus is life. Anyway, so yeah, pigeon languages are amazing. Now there is an example of a pigeon language. I believe it's Russian and another language. Is it some type of Scandinavian language? I think it's some type of Scandinavian or maybe Nordic language where the Russians were trading, or it might have been an Inuit language. I cannot remember. But the Russians were doing trade with another group of people. It's funny, I'm saying all these different places when it could have been Spain, for all I know. So Russia was doing trade with another peoples, and in this place they would set up like these trading posts, and they would then have to do business with other people who were in the area. So this is and a pigeon language was created for these people at this trading post, right? And it is an example of a pigeon language coming into being without like a colonial force subjugating an indigenous force, which for the most part, that is what you're going to find with pigeon languages, unfortunately, because rarely do people ever put themselves in the situation where they are dealing with another language without conquering, right? Without bloodshed, you know? But this is life. Unfortunately, you know, no matter how uncomfortable it makes your sister and your neighbor, life, for the most part, history has been raping and pillaging. So this is sad, this is depressing. So for most of the examples of pigeon languages that we have, they come with some very negative connotations. Slavery is often involved. It's really depressing stuff. But it is one of the realities. So, but yeah. Patois is the pigeon language I think everybody knows. And then like Cajun? No, Creole. Thank you. Why did I say Cajun? Creole. Creole is an example of another pigeon language. Again, pigeon language, it is like a combination of languages that becomes its own language. And what's interesting about a pigeon language is eventually it will become so far removed from the original language that it became a combination of, that it will no longer be recognizable. Because you need to remember, in the example of a pigeon language, you are conjoining two languages that are different from each other, which means these languages probably have different grammatical structures. These languages probably have different examples of addressing people. And then these languages also probably have a different rhythm than we do, right? So just changing the rhythm of how somebody communicates and sliding the words around just a little bit can create a pigeon language that is recognizable to a pigeon language that nobody can recognize except the people who speak it. But as a pigeon language grows older, eventually it will become its own language. Patois is like the most milquetoast example of this, right? Because in the example of patois, poison right now. In the example of patois, I mean, it's like, oh, there's some things they say that I don't understand, but for the most part, I get what they're saying. They just have a lot of fun slang. And it's like, no, you don't understand. It's not fun slang. Ebonics, that's fun slang, okay? Based, that's fun slang. But patois has more than just fun slang. It is, in essence, almost its own language. Soon to be its own language. But, yeah. So, yeah, I am a complete nerd when it comes to linguistics. I love linguistics. It makes me happy and warm inside because it's like watching evolution take place culturally. It's so fucking cool. So if you ever have time to kill, I highly recommend watching the video on schizophrenia. And if you don't want to learn about schizophrenia, but you're super interested about pidgin languages, again, the great courses on Audible, linguistics, it's worth it. It's like 24 hours long, maybe 32. It's worth it. It is worth it, okay? Alright, we're going to be leaving soon. And the reason we're going to be leaving soon is we only have 3 sharks left. What will probably happen is I will go upstairs, I will grab a snack, and then I will probably grind a little bit more while I'm in bed. And then I'll probably call it. Man, we just finished this Japanese whiskey here. I bought it quite a while ago. I think it was one of the first Japanese whiskeys I ever purchased. It's a 5-year. It was fantastic. A single grain whiskey. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. Definitely highly recommend. Highly recommend. Of course, I have this bad boy right here. Now, when people think of Japanese whiskey, generally they're thinking of this bottle. It's a twisty, which for some reason a lot of Japanese whiskeys are twisties. I don't know why they're twisties, they just are. In the American connotation, twisty means poor quality. You know, you see a twisty, it's like, ooh, yikes! What am I about to get myself into? But in Japanese whiskey, it's very commonplace. They still have corks. They still have corks. Don't get it confused. They got corks, but a lot of their stuff is indeed. I got a God Sword shard. Holy fuck! This is ridiculous. So many good things are happening today. How many God shards do I need to make a God Sword? Oh, it's 150,000. It's not bad. That is not bad. I will take that all the way to the bank. Oh, it's the Ring of Wealth. Once again, how many charges do we have? It's just 4. Okay. Grants tier 2 luck, which improves your chances to receive rare rewards from various activities. Provides limited teleports to the Varrock Grand Exchange. Can be charged at the Fountain of Heroes in the Heroes Guild, the Tier of Sauron in Perindius, or the Geyser Titan Familiar. Okay. Oh, we just leveled up Necromancy. That's fantastic. And we've just reached combat level 110. This is such good news, guys. Oh, we've been poisoned. This is unacceptable. Think of the children. I think this is our last one. We have had quite the successful grind here. We've got 2 robes of subjugation, 2 pieces of subjugation, which is fantastic. Not only did we get 2 pieces of subjugation, we also got a Godsword shard, which is also pretty kick-ass. I was kind of hoping for something else, but you know what? I can't complain. Yeah, no, I'm really happy with how this turned out. All right, let's pick up everything we need, and then we're gonna get out of here, guys. To be honest, I would like to talk to Morty. See what he has to say. Morty is he's a man of few words, but oh, okay, yep, cool. Okay, and let's teleport out of here before we can't anymore. Boom, and we're out of there. Look at that. Okay. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy? 1,700 tabs. Okay. Let's talk to Morty real quick. Let's see how Morty feels about life. So I was reading the Wikipedia in the Wizard's Tower, and it says that the axolotl can grow back its limbs. Is that true? It's not something I've ever tried out, although my mom accidentally cut her tail off once. Did it grow back? Kind of. The tail grew back as a head. What? Turns out regenerating is a bit of a lottery. You never know what you're gonna get. Life's like a box of regenerating axolotls. It gives a whole new meaning to butting heads, am I right? Dude, that's my mom you're talking about. Okay, that was cute. That was cute. Alright, let's talk to you. Unlocks consumables. Aura refresh. Okay. 157. We almost have the altar unlocked. Okay. Oh, that's makes me so happy. We're gonna go to Edgeville. We might actually sell the Godsword shard. Yeah. Okay. God Sword blade attaching and removing hilt has no smithing level requirement. Okay. One, two, and three. God Sword blade. Disassembly. Okay, but how do you attach the hilt? Oh, that's my wife. That's my wife. One of the 4 hilts. The armadillo hilt. Attaching the armadillo hilt. Okay, but there we go. Oh. 1 in 500 chance to get. Okay. I wonder if we sell it. We can hold on to it, honestly. We could honestly hold on to it. What do we need? The Sardamon hilt. So 1 in 500 chance. Interesting. Alright, let's start selling stuff. Let's start selling. I don't really care how much I get paid for all this stuff. No, I don't want to sell those. Yep, I'll take that. Ultimately for me, and this is like super important, for me, I just want to be able to make enough money to continue buying rocktails. That's the only reason I'm doing any of this. And the rocktails obviously are for other things. The rocktails are so that we can continue bossing, actually. Just in case you were wondering. So I am curious, which is the most expensive God Sword shard? Okay, here we go. 152, 149, 150. So 150, 152, which is the first one. 149, which is the second one. And then the third is 150. So arguably we got the second most expensive one. Ooh, I want it. I could probably buy it. Okay, damage 2000. Oh, yeah. Tier 92. Jeez. How much are you? Oh, wow. Almost 600,000. Yeah, so it's worth hanging on to the God Sword shard. For sure. Definitely worth it. Put you right there. We'll put you right there. Okay. We'll drop you. Eat that. Scatter this. Talk to the banker. that. Deposit 1. Buy this. Excellent. Talk to the banker again. Deposit 5. Deposit another 5. Deposit 1. Okay, that's good. Okay. There we go. $581. Talk to the banker, deposit all the money, and then teleport. No, 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 no. Boom. Alright, cool. Well, that ends today's stream. Thank you all for tuning in. I had such a blast. Holy smokes, I can't believe we got 2 robes of subjugation. This is ridiculous. This is insane. Like, I mean, who let that happen, right? Two robes of subjugation and then a God Sword shard. Like, boom, boom, boom. Life is good. We got some good drops. I'm going to call it. Hopefully I'll be on tomorrow morning. All right. Y'all stay safe.